Hi, I'm Liam Carroll. Today, I'm here to explore how algorithms, echo chambers, and biases can affect people on digital media. I recently did a study here in Colorado with CU students across the hill and on campus. I wanted to find out if algorithms were affecting them in their social media. I soon figured out that they were not informed and they did not know much about social media and algorithms affecting their lives.
What do you think about this?
I don't think it's good.
No.
Because I do spend so much time just scrolling
They
on
get
TikTok
you.
and I can't stop and they're just making money off of me.
You click on like one thing and then it's your entire feed for a while.
Especially when they hear what you said and then it shows up on your screen. That's insane.
That take clips of like longer videos to kind of get more people to stop and look at them.
Most of the time I feel like it's just they leave out context, like on purpose, stuff like that, and kind of just try to frame it one way when it isn't really the full picture.
I think news sources and finding a thread throughout today's time is the hardest thing, and sifting through multiple kind of different perspectives is the hardest thing. And with how saturated everything is, it's super hard to just find an opinion that's actually valid.
Now, I wanted to take this idea further and apply it to this politics and digital media class. I wanted to see if people were affected by biases in digital media when using their devices for political and other information.
2 hours and 45 minutes is my daily average.
Average 6 hours.
3 hours and 20 minutes.
My average is 3 hours and 14 minutes.
Oh, sorry, it updated. 3 hours.
My daily average is 3 hours and 18 minutes.
TikTok, an hour and 40 minutes.
Looks like my number one is Netflix.
My most is Instagram and Snapchat.
Looks like my most used app right now is Disney Plus.
X, Twitter, 22 minutes. Pinterest, 21 minutes. Chrome, 14 minutes. New York Times.
Maps, Spotify, and
I check Snapchat, I check Instagram, I look at TikTok.
Then I presented each interviewee with an article depicting the rise in citizens' use of digital devices. In this link, it says globally, people average around 6 hours and 40 minutes screen time per day. The average American spends around 7 hours and 3 minutes a day. The daily screen time has increased 30 minutes per day since 2013. Following that, I asked the interviews another question. What digital media device do they use to find information, whether political, educational, sports related, or anything else?
I listen to my regular news. I turn on the news in the morning and listen to news. Am I consistent on which news? No, I bounce. Probably partial to NBC. Not sure why.
So I would say my most used search engine would be Google.
Chrome.
Google Chrome?
Yep.
Safari and Google.
You'd use Google? Or
Yeah, then I'd probably just go into my Google search and just verify something if I wanted to. Right?
I try to, if I'm keeping up on political stuff, I would use X or it was called Twitter, but yeah, I would use that as my, keeping up with current events sort of things. But I would use Google search as more of like just what I need to look up.
So I get my news from the show, like Today's Show or Fox or NBC, any news thing. I flip around. I'm partial to NBC Today's Show for sure. But if I'm in the, like when Trump just got shot, I went straight to Twitter, or to X. Straight there, what's trending? Then I want to see, because everyone, both sides are on Twitter.
After hearing about the various platform uses from the interviewees, which included Google, Twitter, Washington Post, and others, I presented them with a class article from Pew Research Center. It said, more than 8 in 10 US adults, 86%, get their news from a smartphone, computer, or tablet, often or sometimes, including 6% said they do so often. This is higher than the portion who get their news from television. Following that, I asked the interviews another question. Do they ever notice any bias when using social media when they're trying to find information?
Yeah, it's becoming pretty common nowadays.
Oh, 100%. It is very biased depending on where you're getting your information. 100%.
Kind of. I mean, I can't really make an example, but I can tell if I search something, it's not something that I intended.
Okay.
And there's some sort of agenda.
Definitely on social media, but not really on Safari or Google.
No, not really.
Not as
I
much.
think it's just both ways.
Both ways.
I mean, I don't believe it really both ways.
After hearing about the interview's experiences with biases in digital media, I presented them with an article of the dangers of biases, misinformation, and disinformation. In this article by Pew Research Center, 2016, they found 64% of adults believe fake news stories and caused a great deal of confusion. 23% said that they had shared fabricated political stories themselves, sometimes by mistake, and sometimes intentionally. After starting the interview with these light questions and introducing some research about the topic of the interview, I was ready to give them the test. For this, I had them search a phrase on their chosen social media device and platform, whether that be social media or both, and I had them search, what are the biggest issues in the 2024 election?
What are the biggest issues for the 2024 election?
I guess the first thing that comes up was NBC News.
NBC came up first.
Here are the best, or here are the 7 biggest issues of the 2024 election. But then there's a bunch of ads here.
Like NBC News came up with 7 big issues that strike in the 2024 election.
So it looks like first thing came out is Pew Research Center.
Okay.
NBC, 7 biggest issues at stake. NPR, tracking the issues of the election. Brookings.
Cultural issues. This is Pew Research Center, pewresearch.org. Then there's NPR.
Then NPR, then BBC.
Okay, cool.
Then CBS. There's a lot of liberal stations are coming up.
Right now, just a status, state.gov, Wikipedia.
So like TikTok?
Or Twitter, whatever. Whatever was.
The top one that came in was a member of Congress. A member of Congress.
I don't know what that is. I'm not liking this one. America's 2 choices in the 2024 election: genocide enabler, genocide supporter. I would never click on that.
Just drama, talking about like summing up election drama and things going on. Mainly like people summing up news articles.
You're saying it's more dramatized, you think?
Yeah.
And then some comedian comes up.
It's not I don't want to say unbiased, but they're people talking about it, like with their opinions involved.
Looking back at the search results that the interviews had when searching this phrase, I was able to dive deeper into the topic of the interview, starting with, are they aware of echo chambers?
No.
I am not.
No.
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 Since my family was unaware of what echo chambers were, I presented them with an article that kind of explained what they are and how they're relevant to this discussion. In this article, it stated, echo chambers can happen anywhere information is exchanged, whether it's online or in real life. But on the internet, almost everyone can quickly find like-minded people and perspectives via social media and countless news sources. This has made echo chambers far more numerous and easy to fall into. And these algorithms that are put into place with digital media and these social media platforms, they essentially filter out what you like based on your preferences, and they continue to show you what you like. And it echoes the same information to you, information they know you'll like, feeding you stuff you'll like, and keeping stuff you won't like or disagree with out of the picture. Platforms are like programmed to keep feeding you that information and putting you, echoing information into a pool with other people. After showing them this article, I wanted to ask them some more questions about algorithms, biases in media, and echo chambers, starting with, do they think echo chambers are problematic?
Yeah, I would say it's pretty problematic. Because if I was someone who wanted to see both ends of the spectrum without being manipulated or seeing a biased opinion, it's kind of hard to do that.
Yeah, just keeps them closed-minded.
I do, actually, nowadays, especially on social media. If you start to search, say, one thing on right-wing, issues, then they're gonna keep feeding you that type of content and here's this, here's right wing, keep looking at this. They're not gonna give you here's what the Democrats think, right? Here's what we think on our side. But no, it's like once you search about the right wing or Republican issues, they're gonna be like, no, it's gonna keep feeding you this. So yeah, I can see that nowadays, especially on Twitter too, when I use that. So
yeah, it's hard to get an open opinion. It's like they always send you, just because I liked something, like, oh yeah, she's got a good point, I like that. Now everything is that. I don't want that. I want to hear both sides, and I don't equally hear both sides.
I believe it's very dangerous because it does send people down rabbit holes, and it doesn't allow a person to look at both sides of the story.
And also it keeps people uneducated, or makes people uneducated on reality.
I mean, it makes sense, but I mean, you can't. I don't think you can no longer say that's a place you go for, unbiased news.
Do they think it's problematic that these algorithms are coded for the interests of social media platforms and companies? They seek your attention, your addiction, and your labor on their apps.
Yes, 100%. They're encouraging us to be more addicted to our. They want us to 100%.
And I do see that as kind of an issue, especially nowadays. It's gonna get
Yes,
so
totally a problem because all it does is lead to more of them pursuing that same process. I guess.
Yeah. See,
they're profiting, so of course they're gonna keep doing it, and I don't think it should be done.
Yes. Overall, I see it as problematic. Although you did agree to the terms and conditions, so there was a warning, but there isn't a way to address what's in the terms and conditions. Everyone just scrolls through it, accept.
And it's kind of, they've done some studies, like the iPhone one, it would take you 7 years to read the terms and conditions.
Right.
If you read at like 100 words a minute. So it really is like impossible to really assess or read. So I feel like some people would say that it'd be a little unfair and they don't really feel fully informed with what they're giving to these websites.
So like, I work in healthcare, and when we, explain a procedure or something, we make it so the patient understands.
Right. Walk them through.
Yeah. If you have to descale it,
No, I don't really have a problem with it, just because I want to see things I'm interested in, rather than like everything. Like there's definitely, I don't really care about sports, so I don't want to see sports on my feed.
Okay, that makes sense.
But education-wise, I think that like Safari shouldn't be biased, but like social media is fine.
Hate on you.
No, I don't. No, as long as it's free, right? So.
You agreed to it in the terms and conditions when
I certainly think I could go to, if I don't like it, go someplace else.
Yep.
So I don't really remember agreeing to it, but I don't mind either. I figure as a give or take, I could just, if I have a problem with them doing that, then stop using the website.
Do they think algorithms lead to psychological effects like depression, isolation, distrust, and polarization?
It's very much a problem. Oh my gosh, it's horrible.
Yes, I think it's not healthy because it makes you dive deeper into just that one side.
I would say because, they're going off of the agenda of those echo chambers and the people who are buying it. So they're going based on a market and not so much the person, and you're kind of taking the humanity out of it.
No, I don't think it's a problem.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. I guess I don't really know the extent of the issue.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's already been just kind of just trust issues against I would say just everybody, really, just because of all this politics and feeding in this information. Yeah, it's getting pretty bad out there. So
I believe it's a problem because people are fed only one side of the story, and there's two sides to every story, and it's hard to step back and develop your own opinions when you're being shoved down the throat with everybody else's opinions, trying to form yours.
Totally.
And someone could have the agenda of selling an antidepressant, and so we would want to push depression on this group of people with this echo chamber. I don't know how the whole thing works.
Right. Do you think it's problematic for young people to be involved with algorithms and social media, falling into these echo chambers?
Yeah, I believe that there is a line of being too young and being persuaded in different directions and not being mature enough to make decisions looking at all sides. They end up going down one rabbit hole versus another.
Cool.
I don't think it's their responsibility to raise your kids, though.
Okay.
It's your responsibility to tell your kids what to log in and what not to. I'm sure there's some level of social responsibility, but that's not it.
I think just kids on social media is a problem.
Okay.
Like, kids aren't supposed to be on social media, you know? So it's like...
Yes, I am concerned about that. I don't think it's healthy. It's not healthy for any of us to be on our devices as much as we are. But children are more so affected by it because they're losing their ability to make friends. Like, look up, oh, hi. Like, have natural reactions to things that are in real life.
Should there be any regulation implemented by governments on this issue? Or is it up to the user to have good judgment when browsing on social media?
It's tricky. It's tricky because I don't want the government telling me what I can or cannot do. I think they already do too much of that. Like, in different, but, oh boy.
Yes, I think that I believe it should be regulated. I mean, I don't think...
Or should it be on us?
Yeah, I think it should be regulated. I liken it to laws in place for wearing seatbelts and wearing helmets. Like, you aren't always in control. And I'm not saying that they need to control you, but I think they should regulate it so that people aren't overly persuaded and are able to make educated decisions without algorithms pushing one way or the other.
Kind of skeptical on the regulation. If it went that route, there would have to, it'd take a lot of time.
Well, I think it can be both. Certainly, at some level, I think everyone would agree what maybe kids should watch or listen to, what they could do with kids that are 18. I don't know if we can stop it, but I think everyone would agree there's some regulation there. But generally speaking, I don't think you can tell them how to run their business.
Right.
But so yeah, I think some laws can be put on there.
I guess it would just be like, keep things limited as like what you're sharing. Like, people shouldn't be sharing any personal information, but I don't know what's could be dangerous about like memes. I guess maybe if people like read into them a lot, but like
I do think we need to privatize our lives a little bit more.
So I don't think the government can fix that. I think we have to, as people, as the society, have to figure out why these things are, on our For You page or whatever. Like,
but the app creator is creating this app for us citizens to use, not for governments to kind of, infiltrate this and kind of feed us this information, force us to do, kind of think about these kind of things. And it's just like, I'm using this app because I want to. It's just for fun. Like, it's just not for it's political. And
as long as Google and Safari aren't being biased, which maybe they are, I don't know. Definitely less than social media, but
okay,
it's up to the user, I think.
Everything needs boundaries. Children need boundaries, and these apps are still young. Right. You need boundaries. I'm not saying that stuff I don't think it's anything to do with free speech at all.
But I think we need to educate the users better.
Okay.
Maybe we can regulate that route so people have more autonomy on their decisions.
Okay. Looking back at all the footage, I determined that my family was very uneducated when it came to algorithms and the dangers in digital media. They all agreed that echo chambers, biases, and algorithms were problematic to society. When looking back at the interviews and searching in the different search results, for Safari and Google, they came up to be very biased liberal stations. For social media, it was very out of context information with no evidence to back it up. For my sister exploring on TikTok, it seemed to be very random and it could be very easy to be persuaded and misinformed. Having this misinformation, disinformation, and confusing biases on social media can really distort your view on reality. I think everyone agreed that having regulatory systems implemented onto these digital platforms and algorithms can help give more transparency and accountability when sharing information online. In conclusion, by addressing and understanding these problems implemented by algorithms, echo chambers, and biases, we can hope and strive for a more truthful and balanced social media where people can find the right information that they need. I'm Liam Carroll, and thank you for watching my episode. Thank you for your time, Daniel.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Okay, great. Well, thank you for your time. Great. Thank you for your time, Tyler.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, well, great. Thank you for your time. I think you nailed it.
I think so. Hopefully I'm different.
Very interesting. What'd you think?
Oh, it was good. Great questions. I
thank you.
Don't have an answer.